Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a bonus edition of Uncaged. Season 2 has wrapped up, but we are back with a bonus episode, and I have been waiting to do this episode because Daniel's got something to say. My name is Mike Larkin, Daniel Crimmins. We are back. This special edition, this bonus episode of Uncaged features Daniel's thoughts on AEW Fight Forever video game.
So, what do you want to talk about?
I'll tell you what I want to talk about, man, as we are recording this last night's Survivor Series. 5 good matches. 5 really good matches.
Not a bad match on the card. Although I will say I wish Escobar and Dragon Lee had gotten a little more time.
I remember watching that, and I'm like, oh, snap. They took out Carlito, so they put in Dragon Lee, and I'm like, oh, this is going to be good. It was short and sweet, but I got to say, I do agree with you on more time, but they had a really good match, and both men look strong, and it continues the ascension of Santos Escobar.
Oh, yeah. You know, I kind of expected some interference. Like, I didn't think he was going to win clean.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, as I mentioned to the TSK crew last night, I said it was an appetizer.
Agreed.
Now, it was like... When when you're going to a grocery store and you see those, usually it's the little old ladies and or the little gentlemen who have like the little cups with the little product in there, and you get the free samples because I don't know about you, I'd love me some free samples.
Me too. We go to
Costco. You want more? You're like,
you want more?
Give me more of this.
Give me more of these free samples. It's like going to Costco. I like your style.
And I don't know. I think my boy Robert said about 7 minutes and some seconds.
Yeah, they went like 7.5, 8 minutes.
I mean, it was good for what it was.
Yeah.
Would have been more.
Well, for me, I will say this. Now, the rumor has it though, since obviously there's no Joaquin Wilde and Cruz del Toro with him anymore. There's rumor that they are going to have a new Legado del Fantasma based off what we saw in the latest WWE video game for 2K. Put in Humberto Carrillo and Angel Garza with Santos Escobar. I think that would be
interesting. And honestly, and I said this to the boys last night, it gives them something to do. And it's Escobar and Garza, or Garza and Carrillo.
Yeah.
It looked like they were going to feud. Then they went down to NXT, and they've been killing it there.
Mm-hmm.
I think it looks like we're going to get a LWO Civil War.
I'm cool with that. Just because, you add Ray when he comes back to it, and anything that they could do that really go against the grain here, I love it, man. Like, we've seen Santos Escobar as El Hijo del Fantasma. We've seen him in Impact. We've seen him in AAA. We've seen him in NXT. We've seen him even in Lucha Underground as King Cuerno. So even having him as this character, just the leaps and bounds he's grown.
And and also you got to consider that it's more factions aren't bad. I look at Dragon Lee. They look at him. And they have him as the next Rey Mysterio.
Which I can see definitely. That high praise that Ray gave him, yeah.
It's the mask, it's the look. He looks like a Rey Mysterio type. It's all about money. They're gonna make their money off of Dragon Lee.
And the dude is money. We've seen him in Ring of Honor. We've seen him all over the place as well. He's just a rising star, and he's really going, to quote Cameron Grimes, to the moon.
I've got to wonder, depending on how he does, do Roosh and Dralistico, if he does well, do they think, maybe we go there.
If we see what Roosh and Dralistico do with Los Ingobernables Facción, I really do, or no, it's Los, what is it? Los Facciones Ingobernables.
Yeah, Los Facciones Ingobernables, or however they say the word.
Yes, Los Facciones Ingobernables. I could definitely see if their contract goes up because, you got to think Roosh and Dralistico are seeing what they're doing. And I know Dralistico just signed a contract, but I could see good old Roosh going back there with his brother and just WWE doing his thing there. There's so much uncertainty, and we'll get to the big return in a second. But I mean, another singles match I have to mention to you. A lot of people were questioning it just because, like, why out of nowhere? But Zoe Stark and Rhea Ripley really held their own. They told a very good story.
Oh yeah, and it's like people like I kind of considered Zoe Stark to kind of be like the not Rhea Ripley type, the Shayna Baszler type, where they're brought up to the main roster and they just kind of flounder for a while. And people thought, oh well, they're just gonna feed her to Rhea Ripley, and I mean, if it was Charlotte Flair, then yeah, they would have fed her to Charlotte.
Yeah.
That would have been it. But she held her own. So, and it's maybe more like at this point, they're running out of people for Rhea. Like they're running out of people.
Oh, agreed. And I mean, you have her counter the Z360 into the Riptide for the win. But I mean, I've seen Zoe Stark like even before WWE, like when she was Lacey Ryan in FSW for Future Stars of Wrestling, and she's appeared on Impact. But god dang, man, like with her coming up to the main roster, like instantly she's paired with Trish Stratus. She gets the Trish Stratus rub. And now she's her own thing. She's got her thing going with Shayna a little bit here. But she's just, I mean, we've seen her in NXT with Nikita Lyons. Like the woman's busted her ass. She came back from an injury and she's really shown why she deserves to be on the main roster. And I mean, she had her moment. And when you're working with Mommy, I know Mommy's always on top, but Rhea Ripley, I mean, god dang, man, another one. And there's really not a lot of people that she can go after. I mean, you got to think going down the line, maybe Rhea and Jade Cargill when Jade Cargill is ready, but who knows, man.
Rhea and Becky, they teased that.
That would be really good. I mean, they haven't wrestled each other, I think, probably in like 4 years, man, since 2019 on NXT, actually, funny enough. So, I mean, Rhea and Becky Mania, give me that.
Yeah, give me that again. I don't think you do Jade versus Charlotte. It's people are saying, well, where's Jade? Why haven't we seen her? And people are saying, I think it was Dave Meltzer said, that WWE may be having second thoughts.
Okay, no. I think for me, it's like what Triple H said last night. We're going to develop her more. And when she's ready, we'll put her on TV. That's how you have to look at it. It has nothing to do with having second thoughts. It's just when you have a hot commodity like that with her look, her stature, and her prowess, you don't want to just blow your load too quickly and get rid of her like that. No, you have to build and give it time.
And honestly, really, what I think they're doing is they're having her work at the Performance Center and get WWE ready.
Right.
And get to the level of what they want, because the way that they have presented her, they're not going to put her on NXT.
You can, because with someone with how she's being presented, she's not going to go in there and wrestle Lyra Valkyria. She's going to go in there and wrestle the big stars on the two main rosters.
So what's going to happen, I think we'll get her at Royal Rumble.
And she'll be in the Royal Rumble.
Whoever eliminates her, because she's not winning the Rumble.
No.
Whoever eliminates her is going to be who she faces at Mania. Be that Charlotte, be that Becky. I think, honestly, the money match, Charlotte.
Oh, yeah. I mean, then they teased that on SmackDown. And I mean, it's like the same build with Seth and Logan last year. Logan Paul eliminated Seth Rollins, and then they had their match at WrestleMania. So, I mean, I like it. It's simple and to the point. It also builds that, that intrigue, that attraction that is WrestleMania. And before we get to the two War Games matches, another singles match that did happen. Gunther and The Miz, really, really good.
Wow. I think it goes to show that Miz is so underrated.
This man pulled out a Hurricane Rana. He did a springboard axe handle and got caught. I mean, he worked hard. Worked over the leg, the psychology, the figure four spot like Bret Hart on the on the ring post. Like he worked over Gunther. Gunther gave him those chops, boy. He hit him with the boot. He kicked out of the power bomb. He hit him with everything but the kitchen sink, and then finally the lariat and the chokes and the single leg Boston Crab, the Lion Tamer with the knee in the back. It was really good. Like I said, Gunther can't have a bad match, but a lot of people, you got to stop sleeping on The Miz. You really got to stop sleeping on The Miz.
And, it's everybody real. Miz is one of those generational talents. He can work heel, he can work face. I don't want to see fucking more of it. Like, there was talk of them doing Miz and DIY versus Imperium.
I'm for that just because of the interactions that they've had and the feud that's been barking with DIY and Imperium. So I like it. I'm cool with that.
But honestly, and it begs the question, well, what do you do with Gunter in the IC title? How do you get it off of him without making him look weak? And I'll tell you what you do.
Go ahead.
And I'm making the prediction right now. The Intercontinental title match at WrestleMania is going to be Gunter versus Giovanni Vinci versus Ludwig Kaiser.
You have the triple threat, and I would have Kaiser take the title.
And I think he's going to, because you look at both of them, and people think, oh, Kaiser's going to be the heel.
No,
because at first you thought, because Vinci was the one that was getting beaten, and you thought, oh, he's going to be the face, and because Kaiser was the golden boy.
Yep.
Now it's the other way around.
And what I like about it too is they're planting the seeds for it, like an Imperium implosion. And I mean, I've said this, like we've seen Fabian Eichner as Giovanni Vinci in NXT, like he did that whole model type of gimmick there. I think the dude can play heel very well. I think Kaiser in the right circumstances can be the great babyface come from behind with the victory. And Gunther is just, well, Gunther. So, I mean, if there's any way to do it, what a better way to lose it than in a match with three of your comrades, but also blowing off a feud and blowing up one of the most powerful.
Exactly. And Ludwig Kaiser, Marcel Bartel, whatever you want to call him.
Marcel Bartel, yeah.
He and Gunther have been friends for ages.
Yeah,
they know each other.
Mm-hmm.
And I think in those instances, you can have the best matches.
And that's the thing, if you keep the feud going after that title changes hands with him. I mean, I really do enjoy what I see there from these guys. And I mean, it's one of those things where it's just amazing just to see how far they've come from NXT UK, from NXT, how it transitions into the main roster. So give me that triple threat. You got me intrigued and you got me excited for that.
I think, Kaiser, he's got the international player, and they got the PLE in Germany next year.
Mm-hmm.
I think what you do, that way, and it protects Gunther. It keeps him strong and saying, "Oh, I never lost the title. I never was beaten." The only other person I can see taking it off of him is Ilya Dragunov.
If they have Ilya come up, yeah. And they reignite that feud.
Which they've never had a bad match.
No. Go back and watch the NXT UK takeovers. Go back and watch NXT TakeOver.
When you see somebody the size of Ilya Dragunov slamming Gunther,
it's a sight to see.
Oh my God, give me more.
Like the Britney Spears of this podcast. Give me more. My goodness. Let's talk about the War Games, man. Let's talk about the women first.
War Games.
War Games. Okay, come on, Regal. Say it. Say it. Here's my thing with this one. First of all, I was on the limb and wanted to go Damage Control just because I think them finally getting the win over, just really making them strong since they got Kyrie now, and let's see where this goes. But I think the storytelling of having the baby faces win, Becky hits her with the manhandle slam through the table, and now Becky loses. And Bayley loses, excuse me. And then you have, the breakdown, so to speak, of Damage Control, and then they kick her out, and then they have Bayley become a babyface. I thought the story made sense. They took some hard bumps. I mean, that backhand with the trash can from Kyrie. Of course, Io doing the infamous spot off the top of the cage with the trash can on her head, jumping on everybody. Charlotte with the moonsault off the top of the cage. This was a really, really good War Games match, Daniel.
It was. And, it shows the chemistry that they all have. And, every single one of these ladies came up from NXT. Shotzi's really stepped it up.
That's the thing. And people, now, did you see people crapping on her on Twitter for that promo on SmackDown where she was just going all nuts and doing the character?
It's who she is.
That's the thing. I'm like, guys, she's supposed to be the nutty character. She's supposed to be balls to the wall. She's the ballsy badass. Like, she's doing the character. It's who she is. It's authenticity.
Yeah. But
and she hold her own, man.
People are fickle.
Fickle, as Daniel Bryan would once say. But no, man, I think the right team went over. And absolutely. I said this to you. If Mercedes Moné, Sasha Banks, wants to come back to WWE. The story writes itself. Damage Control's beating down Bayley. Bayley's the babyface. Who does she call for reinforcements? It's the return of Sasha Banks. If we can get, and we'll talk about CM Punk in a minute here, but if we could get Punk back and Triple H on the same page, there's no more Vince McMahon. If Sasha Banks wants to come right now back in the Triple H regime, let's do it. Put Bayley and Sasha back together.
I would not be shocked if it happens. I wouldn't be shocked.
Me either. And I mean, is she doing New Japan right now? Is it Mercedes Moné and Julia? Is that what they're talking about for Wrestle Kingdom?
Last I heard, she's been hurt.
Okay. Do we know when her time back is or timetable is?
I haven't heard.
All right. Well, either way, I know they were talking about doing something with the women. I think she was going to do a Japan match again. But here's the thing. If you can get her back in time for WrestleMania, that's the moment to have Sasha come back. I mean, you never thought you'd see it, but again, it's the Triple H regime. And I'll say this. I think she's doing amazing work in Impact Wrestling, that being Miss Trinity. I can see Naomi coming back eventually, too.
Yeah, it's she's done well. And I think with her, she wanted to see if she could do it outside the WWE bubble. She knows I've been singing Naomi's praises, Trinity's praises for ages.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, she's just talking about she didn't like being disrespected. And she's like, okay, well, I'm going to go over here. I'm going to do my thing and show you why I am who I am. And I'm going to get respect. And if you've not seen her roll, and I know people sleep on Impact too, watch her in Impact. Like, she's had some great matches with Deonna Purrazzo. She had a great match with Mickie James. Like, she's been working really hard and really applying that craft, man.
And does Deonna Purrazzo, can you make another go at WWE?
I mean, hey, man, we got Mickie James in the Rumble, which I could see her coming back eventually too. Like Deonna, give me Deonna back in there too as well. We're talking about this, and I think each and every one of them are doing great in their respective companies. But with what we have now with the Triple H era, and Triple H can get people like we mentioned CM Punk back and whatnot, and hell freezing over, so to speak. I think a lot of people are going to be attracted to seeing that new regime. There's no Vince McMahon and what they're doing from a business model and acumen. I think you're going to see a lot of people go over there.
I do too. I would definitely agree with that. I think we're going to definitely. It's going to be interesting, and I made the point last night with the TSK crew. You always hear there's a phrase, "It's a brave new world."
Mm-hmm.
Do I think that's what Punk wanted? Absolutely. I think when he showed up at Raw in Chicago a number of months back, I believe it was last summer.
Yes.
I think it was shortly after the All Out incident.
Yeah, I believe it was like shortly after that, correct.
I've got to wonder if maybe, and it was right before Tony Khan brought him back. I think, it was twofold. I think one, it was him saying, hey, is there, are we cool? This, this and that. I think Triple H said to him, what's your contract status? Where are things? And I think he probably said, well, I'm still technically under contract with them. And then I think that's when he went to Vince and said, Vince, what do we do here? I think Vince said, he's got to go.
My thing with this is, and we'll get into it now before we get to Punk. First of all, men's War Games match. I really did enjoy Sammy, Cody. I mean, Cody getting to be in his daddy's match. Seth, Cody, Sammy, and everything that really went into it, and then Randy Orton later on as well, and everything that went into that.
Oh, absolutely. And did you see how jacked Orton looked?
Oh, my God. The man looked amazing. He's in great shape, and he's been gone for about a year and a half.
And how about the story that we got there was, is he coming back? Is he going to be here? People were saying, oh, it's misdirection for CM Punk.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was, well, what's going to happen? Then the clock hits 0, and you think you're going to hear Orton's music. What do you hear? You hear Rhea Ripley's music. She runs down with the briefcase, which, okay, just run down with the briefcase. We didn't need to hear your music.
Just run down and say, hey, he's going to cash it in. I mean, first of all, this match had table spots. It had everything. They had the cowbell spot, which I thought was a nice nod to Dusty. One of the things we need more cowbell, yes. But one of the things I got to bring up to you, I mean, Randy Orton and Jey Uso, the fact that you thought Randy was going to RKO him, and then Jey just super kicks Damian. I like that subtlety of the fact that, hey, I remember you took me out, but then it looked like they were.
We're not done here.
We're not done here, but we're cool. But I'm not cool with. Again, this sets up to me Roman and Randy at the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, maybe it will be Randy and Roman.
I'm cool with that. We haven't seen that match in ages, but also
They haven't finished the story.
They have not finished that story. So I like that little subtlety in there. Like, hey, I remember what you did to me, but I forgive you. So everybody on the same page. I mean, Rhea coming out, cashing Money in the Bank. Then here comes
trying to.
They're trying to, and then here comes Randy. When the hell do you think he's going to cash in that damn belt, man?
Here's what I think is going to ultimately happen.
Okay.
I think he's going to cash in. He's not going to win. He's not going to win the title.
Okay.
I think what's going to ultimately happen, Judgment Day is going to cost him the match. Intentionally or not, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But I think what's going to happen is that is going to be the catalyst for him leaving Judgment Day and turning face.
If I were that, I'd lead it to WrestleMania. And how about Finn versus Damian at WrestleMania?
Absolutely.
Okay. I like that, but I will also say this. Now, it was very telling that if you saw who got the pin in that, Cody pinned Damian Priest did take the pin, and also builds to, oh, you were supposed to be the leader, but you took the pin. So there's stuff they could go with that with the Judgment Day.
There's
Also,
Damian Priest and Drew McIntyre, because if you remember, it's time for the next Judgment Day member to enter. Drew's like, I'm going in. And
well, I'm going in.
Which then says, no, stick to the plan.
Yep. I'm going in. Stick to the plan. I like it. I do, but also I got to put over the fact that Randy Orton, JD McDonough, you crazy son of a bitch, that RKO was sweet.
I would love to have been a fly on the wall in that production meeting. Like I imagine they probably want something like JD McDonough says something. Says, so what's the finish? And they say, well, you're going to take the RKO, and he probably said, oh, okay, just standard RKO, and they probably were like, yeah, see about that. You're gonna be tossed into the RKO. Who was it? It was Seth and Cody, right?
Yeah, Seth and Cody and Sammy was all involved.
And they're probably like, okay, yeah, okay, yeah, I'm okay with that, yeah. And they said, well, you're actually gonna be yeeted off the top of the cage. And kudos to Orton. Orton kind of, I think he even told him, he said no, because you could see Orton move him. Like,
yeah,
they're like, no, right here.
Dude, it reminded me of the Evan Bourne and how he caught him at the end of the Shooting Star Press. That's what it reminded me of.
Orton has not missed a step.
He looked great. If you've not seen how Orton looks, oof.
I've never been a huge Orton fan,
mm-hmm.
but like you could tell like the look on his face, and I think he told them, "Don't show my face."
Yeah,
because you could tell he was feeling it. Like he was happy to be back, and that reaction. Because I'm sure when you're out that long, you've got to be wondering in your head, like, are they going to remember me?
And they did. Oh boy,
what's it going to be like? Am I going to get a decent reaction? That reaction, when you finally, and it looks like Damian's going to cash in, like it's happening, and then you hear the music, and I love that they sent Dominic like a lamb led to slaughter. They're like, go
get him, Dom, go get him. Everybody shined, man, and like we said, it was a really, really good pay-per-view.
Everybody looked good. The heels looked good.
Everybody
looked good.
Yeah.
And who else looked good?
Oh, see, well, we thought the pay-per-view was going off the air. That damn little thing in there, like, the
copyright graphic.
And then the cult of personality hits, and everybody goes ape shit. Here comes CM Punk, who looked healthy, who looked happy big, and he looked in shape, and he looked like he was ready to go.
And like he kind of looked like, because I'm sure with him, it's even like how are the WWE fans going to receive me?
And they received
him. And again, I'm going to say, I don't care. Like, I don't care either way. Stay in AEW, cool. Leave AEW, cool. Retire, whatever. I don't care.
As long as the person's happy, that's the main thing.
And at the end of the day, I've just got so fucking sick and tired of seeing every fucking CM Punk. There must have been like 20 within the past 3 days.
Thank you, Sean Ross Sapp, and every friggin' journalist.
that said, "Oh, he's definitely not coming back." Even Dave Meltzer said it's not happening.
Nick Hausman.
Like literally, everybody's like, "Yeah, it's not happening."
And then look what happened, folks.
It
Oh,
shows that when you do it right, you can still surprise fans.
I mean, Seth Rollins, which we talked about. I'm giving him the finger afterwards and wanting to lunge at him, and that tough badass Michael Cole holding him back.
I call bullshit on that whole thing.
You think it's a work like he knew, or they
I do.
told him beforehand? Yeah. All right.
Or I think they told him you need to act pissed.
True. Okay. For me, that's the WrestleMania match for me is CM Punk.
Absolutely.
Do you have him now? Nakamura has been saying, I've been waiting for you. Where are you? And all that stuff. His first feud, him and Nakamura would be very interesting.
Oh, absolutely. And I think what they're trying to do with Nakamura, because he's been killing it lately.
I know this is what
It's
he should have.
said that the whole purpose is who WWE wants.
Okada.
The Japanese John Cena.
Okada.
They
Kazuchika.
want Kazuchika Okada. Do I think they can get him?
Yes.
Yeah. People say, well, they thought they could get Will Ospreay. Ospreay went. I'm going to tell you, folks, if you don't know why Will Ospreay went to AEW, I'm going to tell you why Ospreay went to AEW.
Hit it.
Number one, Ospreay has a child. I think Ospreay has a son in the UK.
Right.
He wants to keep his son in his school in the UK.
Yep.
Well, I don't blame him. If your kid likes the school he's in, cool. Ospreay still wants to be able to maintain his residence in the UK. If he signed with WWE, no, that's not happening. You're relocating
To Florida.
to Florida or somewhere in the US. They did it with Nakamura. They did it with Peter Dune.
Peter Dune. Yes.
They've literally done it with everybody. You're either in the US or Canada.
Well, that's my thing too.
Gunter had to move to the US.
Yeah.
Eichner,
Bartel.
Bartel. Well, actually, Bartel, I think, was already American. I think he was born in Jersey.
He might have been. I'm not sure. I know he's German though. But hey, the main thing is like a lot of these guys came from there and they had to relocate. I don't blame him. I mean, Will Ospreay also gets to do, and Will Ospreay has to do New Japan too. So I mean,
and Ospreay is a fucking machine.
Oh, he is.
Absolutely. He's one of the best. Now, I think Tony Khan made him an offer. I think he said, hey, look, you don't have to be here full time.
Mm-hmm.
If you still want to work some New Japan shows, absolutely. I think Pac's another great example. Still lives in the UK. I think it makes sense. From a business standpoint for Ospreay, it makes sense for him to sign with AEW.
Agreed. And I mean,
it's not about quality of matches. It's not about booking. It's not about that. It's about who's going to offer him the best deal for what he wants. If you want money, okay. But if you want to maintain your life and have your family stay in England, yeah. Otherwise, if you move to the WWE and keep them in England, you're never going to see your son.
Well, I mean, that kind of like, if you saw like the Ilya Dragunov Baron Corbin thing, he's like, the only way that you can see your children is on the screen. And all you have here is the title because his family is back in the UK and Ilya Dragunov's in the US. So, I mean, you played off that and how they live different lives. And I mean, I'm going to tell you right now, I think this is probably the first time ever I'm looking forward to a Baron Corbin match. You know what I'm saying?
Like, I don't know. Okay.
Yeah.
Corbin, going back to NXT, has been phenomenal.
That was the best thing that could ever happen to him.
And you can tell he's having fun.
I mean, when you're working with guys like Ilya Dragunov and you're doing the stuff with Wesley and all that, and you're doing
even like his matches with Braun Breaker.
Yep. That were really good. Like, he has not disappointed. Like, he can just be him. He doesn't have to have any gimmicks on him.
No, like the whole happy Corbin shit. I mean, sad Corbin was getting over.
Yeah, then he got that money that he accrued, and
Vince being Vince, what it was is sad Corbin was working.
Mm-hmm.
The fans were getting behind him.
Mm-hmm.
Vince, no.
Gotta make you happy.
The fans will tell you what they want. Listen. That's all you gotta do. Listen, the fans will tell you.
I think that's why he also listened when we're getting CM Punk returning. And again, that photo, it's a mighty cold day in hell with him and Triple H. Like, we're in for a ride, man.
And I'm telling you, you know what brought CM Punk back?
What?
Pettiness. I said it on the TSK show last night. It was pettiness. They took Adam Copeland.
Yes.
So it's like, okay, you take him. We're going to take CM Punk.
But it's going to be for an excellent ride of what we're going to get. I can't wait for the promos.
And here's the question.
Yes.
Do we get CM Punk in the Hall of Fame? Maybe not this year, but definitely going to happen.
Yeah, down the line, yeah.
But here's the other question.
Okay.
AJ Lee.
Well, she has a neck injury. I don't think she can wrestle anymore. I think we'll see her make an appearance, but I don't think. Yeah.
But does she really have that injury? Or, we've seen Edge come back.
Yep.
We've seen people with bad neck injuries able to come back and have careers.
Right.
And I think part of it is she just didn't want to.
I think it's a case of either she can't, like you mentioned, because of the neck injury, or she doesn't want to. I mean,
or both.
Or both, yeah. And she was doing I think she still does behind the scenes work for WoW Women Wrestling. So, I mean, who knows, man?
Maybe, you have her be the general manager for NXT.
Hey, I mean, we've seen her be GM before, man.
And you know what? I'm sorry, I can't take Shawn Michaels as an authority figure seriously.
Because of Suck It and DX?
And the hair. I'm sorry. When he went bald, no.
Nah, not my thing either. Not my cup of tea. But I do have to ask you one more question before we get into the Fight Forever. And like I said, folks, this is why we love what we do and why we love professional wrestling and just bouncing off of one another. I got to ask you, the fact of the matter is, how do you think Tony Khan is going to react to all of this? Is he peeing his pants yet?
Honestly, yes. I think it's going to be a one-upsmanship and pettiness.
Yeah.
I gotta think he expected this.
Yeah, but you know me.
If I'm Tony Khan, I'm expecting him to go somewhere.
Yeah, but there's a part of me that likes to watch him squirm, because just him going on a tangent is hilarious, even though it makes.
Now, do I think this is going to propel him to sign people from WWE? I fully expect Drew McIntyre to leave. And it's. Well, I mean, because we do have the story, we didn't touch on this, that Drew left abruptly, like as soon as the match was over, he booked it out. Now, one of the stories, I guess his wife's sister passed away from cancer recently.
Okay.
And supposedly he was going home. I honestly, even before that, I think he's just tired. He's done a lot. He hasn't really been able to be home in Scotland and see his family there, but a couple times a year for a day or two at a time each tour. That's not easy.
Right. I mean, that's a very interesting thought. And I mean, if he does, I guess, go to AEW, I mean, you have Wembley next year. You can have him do some stuff at Wembley.
Him and Ospreay would be entertaining.
Very much so.
For however long we have him left.
Yeah.
You're a heel. Stop bringing out the fucking sword.
True. Very, very, very true. I think the McIntyre thing is going to be very interesting to follow. The other thing I will say, and we joke about Tony Khan, I think for me is the fact that he's off social media is a plus and not going on a tangent. But also, friggin' speaking of social media and tangents, Matt Riddle, like, bro, really?
Don't forget Ryback.
Oh, God damn. Now, is he officially going to retire? Or he said, no, I said if he would go back to AEW.
Yeah, he's not retiring. He's a troll.
Why, Ryback? Why?
He's hawking his autograph on TikTok.
He's whatting his autograph on TikTok?
Hawking he's selling his autographs on TikTok.
Fucking A, man. Get the fuck out of here with that.
Like, seriously, every so often, like, do I follow him on TikTok? Absolutely. But occasionally I'll say, hey, big guy Ryback is going live on TikTok, and he's always selling his autograph. I think like $40. And I'm sorry, I wouldn't pay 40 cents for that.
Me either. He's an idiot. And like I said, big guy. Yet he just wants to draw attention. Like ever since he left WWE in 2016, he's done nothing worth of merit.
Yep. What did you do?
And the other one, Matt Riddle. Now, you think Tony Khan's going to wind up signing Matt Riddle?
Absolutely.
But the problem with Matt Riddle is like, you know how I was hard? Like, Matt, you were drunk, you were constantly high, and you were a liability problem.
You didn't give them a choice but to fire you. You
Bro.
were a fucking liability. But I still wonder if, honestly, if, because it was funny. It was like right after the sale was completed, and he was gone like a week or two. Did Dana White go to Vince and just say, "Hey, Vince, I need you to do me a solid.
Sure, pal.
Can you?" And the problem is, Riddle did this to himself.
I mean, every time they tried to bring him here, he would wind up going back down here because he kept fucking up.
Dude needs help.
He does.
And dude, get your shit on straight. Get your help. And Tony Khan will sign him.
Oh, of course he will. That's why I said after he got released, Tony Khan will sign him, but also at the same time, as fans, you want to see this guy get better. You don't want him to just sign to a fucking contract already. Like,
And the guy that's saying he's gonna open an OnlyFans.
did he? Matt Riddle said that?
He was he was thinking about it.
Well, his wife is also his new boo is an adult entertainer. So I mean,
Which, if that's your thing,
cool.
whatever. I care about as much about Matt Riddle as I care about AEW Fight Forever.
Oh, we're about to get into that now. I like your segue.
I have some things to say.
This is why we're here for this. Go ahead. I'm going to react because you played the game. I didn't.
Okay. For the longest time, the only thing we have had for wrestling games are shitty mobile games.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the ones that cost like $1 or $2 on the iPhone App Store or the Google Play Store.
Right.
You know, the ones that have like the cheap imitation, like Undertaker, Triple H. You know the ones I'm talking about.
Yes.
And yet they'll run ads and they'll say, oh, and it'll be from like, the most recent WWE 2K game. They'll use that for their ads. Say, oh, these are our graphics. Well, they're not. So for the past, say, 10, 15 years, all we've had has been the WWE franchise. And other people have tried, but nothing. So when AEW first came out, and first came on the scene, and they announced a video game, people thought, okay, something new. I was excited for it. And especially when Ukes, who used to be the developer for the WWE games, was brought in. And the company AKI, who made, the WCW N64 games, and they made WWF WrestleMania 2000, and of course, you know what I'm talking about, WWF No Mercy.
Mm-hmm.
Still one of the greatest wrestling games of all time. I don't care. Fight me on it.
No, I don't think anybody will disagree with you. I know a lot of people also rank Here Comes the Pain up there, and I love Here Comes the Pain, but No Mercy is the shiznit.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So what do we get? You see it and you think, okay, here's something. Then there's delays after delays after delays. And then we get what I can only describe as an unfinished game. And it said they wanted it to be a living game, meaning that we were going to get seasonal DLC. So they announced a standalone version of 60, which was around, I think, $60. Or I believe they also announced the Elite Edition, which I think was like $79 or $80, which included the season pass. Which for $20, $30, that's not a bad price.
Not at all. I think that's very affordable, and also for what you're getting in that package, it's a great deal.
We got, I think, something like 6 or 8 DLC. And I thought, oh, that's all the DLC, all the seasons. No, it's just season 1.
Oh my God.
Which I think it was like Keith Lee and the Bunny.
Yep.
Hook and Danhausen.
Yep.
And FTR.
Yes, you're correct. FTR was in the first one.
And what did they offer us? They also offered us the Stadium Stampede match, which that one was free. What that essentially was was, think of Fortnite, but a wrestling game.
Oh, wow.
And the number of people playing it has significantly dropped off. So then they announced a season 2 DLC. Not everybody, I don't think they've announced everybody on it, but it's an additional $13.
Ooh.
So if you're like me that already bought the Elite Edition for $80, you're telling me I've got to fork out another $15 after tax for what, another 6 people? Oh, and the new Dynamite Arena? Like, so match types. We have singles matches. I believe we have trios matches. We have the Casino Battle Royal. The ladder match where you have to get the poker chip.
Yeah, the Casino Battle Royale, yeah.
We have that one. We have the ladder match. We have the lights out match, which is kind of fun. We have the exploding ring barbed wire match from that god awful pay-per-view with Mox and Kenny. Which, with that one, cool concept. We'd never gotten a match like that in a video game before. After a couple times, dude, it gets like this is it.
It gets repetitive, yeah.
It gets lame. We still don't have a cage match, like a steel cage match. We don't have blood and guts. Like, there's no talk of this. And like you had Road to the Elite, which to me was their attempt at a career mode. You could have done better. You had a shitty create mode. And I get it. It's hard. It's hard to make a game from scratch. I get that. But the fact that when this game released, it was full price, absolutely not. It should not have been. If you had released this game at, say, $40 brand new, absolutely. Would I recommend it to people? If you're into AEW, absolutely. If you're an AEW fan, get the game. You'll enjoy it. If you can get it for a good price on sale, if you're not a huge AEW fan, sure. Why not? But is it worth full price? Absolutely not. When was the last time I played it? When the DLC for Danhausen released, because I'm a mark for I'm a mark for him.
Daniel loves him some Danhausen. Yep.
Hell, my name is Dan. My name has Dan in it.
What is that? It's not the Casino Battle Royale. The one with the chip. I think it's like the Joker's Wild or something.
Yeah, the ladder match. Where you have to climb the ladder, get the poker chip.
Yeah, that's the one that they do. The poker, whatever the hell it is. Anyway, the point of the matter is, I will also add to your point. I like story modes. Like we've talked about the career modes and the Road to WrestleManias and everything, the season modes that we got in the WWE games. Now this one, I heard a couple of things. It's like you win the title, and then like that doesn't even matter because then you go into like another storyline, and then you go back for the title again. Can you tell us a little bit more about the Road to Elite? Like, what was that season mode like?
So it starts off where you get signed to AEW.
Yeah,
and the goal, I think, is to get to like All In or Double or Nothing or whatever the hell it is. I never even finished it.
How far did you get?
A couple chapters in, like, they don't tell you how to unlock superstars. Like, hey, to unlock, say, Paul White, you have to do X amount of matches.
Yeah, the unlockables.
I mean, maybe it's come out since. I figured what it would be is like there would be a menu, like an unlockable said, hey, for this wrestler, you need X amount of points. No, they have that, but at the start, you had your choices were like Aubrey Edwards, some additional skins for the Young Bucks, and some guy who's not been able to finish his story yet.
Oh, yes, that's right. Cody is in the video game, too. Yeah.
And I will say, props to them for leaving him in.
Well, I mean, you should have. You don't take him out. You should leave him in. Like, I mean, with what he's done for AEW, you don't take that man out.
I mean, to be fair, I think the question was since WWE took people out, like in I think it was 2K22 when they let go, when Adam Cole left, when Brian Danielson left, people like that, they were yanked, even though they were
Oh
in the game.
yeah, that's the thing though. You yank them, but then the thing is that they were going to be in the game. I mean, I remember they did that when Jeff Hardy got released in 03. Like he was in.
Yeah, I think it was Shut Your Mouth, right?
Well, he was supposed to be in Here Comes the Pain, but they canned him because he got fired.
Yeah. Oh, and it was Shut Your Mouth that he was in with in an unlockable.
Yeah, well, he was already in the game, but the problem was like the theme song. It wasn't that.
Yeah,
It
it was
was like
some random fucking theme song,
it was generic and it sounded like it, but it's like they couldn't use the.
which is weird because that is a free use theme song.
Yeah, Zach Tempest loaded. That's the song.
Like nobody owns that. You
It's like
see it in commercials all the freaking time.
it's like Maven. Like if you remember from Shut Your Mouth, like he didn't come out to tattoo. I wanna have the right. I wanna feel the night. Mercy Drive, baby, tattoo. He
Who
didn't come out.
also did Burning My Light, which
Nothing you can.
Orton absolutely hated.
And I love that song still to this day. But you remember what Maven came out to?
What was it? Tattoo? It was Tattoo, wasn't it?
Yeah, but no, I'm saying in the game he didn't have that theme.
Mm.
He came out to like the SmackDown opening, the like an instrumental of the Beautiful People.
Oh yes, that's right.
Oh.
But like to me, Fight Forever, there's so much more. There are so many missed opportunities. You could do New Japan, bring in some of their guys. Do a New Japan DLC. Reach out to legends that don't have WWE Legends deals.
I think for me too, like you can incorporate, like you talk about the Forbidden Door and stuff and putting New Japan people in the game. I mean, you talk about the match types. I mean, the exploding barbed wire, the stadium stampede, like, is it from a visual standpoint, does it look cool or is it kind of like, eh?
It looks corny as hell. And I get what they were trying to do. They wanted it to be like No Mercy. And cool, but to me, there was so much more that they could have done. And to me, it just seems like missed opportunities.
Well,
Like,
is it a
don't
shock?
get me wrong, it's a fun game. Like it's a fun, like you can pick it up, have some fun with it, but not worth the price.
Fair. Now, is it shocking to you that a lot of people have kind of like dropped off and dipped from not playing anymore?
Doesn't surprise me at all.
No.
I mean, mind you, I'm the guy that paid full fucking price for WWE 2K20.
Oh, you poor man.
I bought the Legends Edition.
You poor man.
Only reason I fucking bought that shit was it had a fucking autograph in it.
Okay, who was the autograph?
So you had three choices. You could either get Rey Mysterio,
okay,
Edge, or Kurt Angle. And you didn't know who you were getting.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Who'd you get?
I ended up getting Rey Mysterio.
Okay, that's good.
I wanted Edge, but
you'll take it.
See, to give you a further idea of how fucked this game was from the get.
Yeah.
You had people that got, I believe it was mainly the Kurt Angle autographs. They got the picture, it was never autographed.
Oh man.
Like you had shit missing from the Legendary Edition. Dude, this game was so fucking bad, 2K gave up on it.
So if you had to choose, by the way, and you only had one game to play, if you had to pick between the two, WWE 2K20 for the rest of your life or AEW Fight Forever? You can only play one.
I gotta go with AEW Fight Forever.
Fair enough.
Simply put, is that they can fix that.
Yeah.
They tried fixing 2K20 multiple times. They didn't do it.
Now I got to ask you, who'd you wind up playing as in the Road to WrestleMania? Because you beat my Road to WrestleMania. I'm sorry, the Road to AEW and all that good stuff. The Road to the Elite. Who'd you wind up?
I dropped it. Sammy
Guevara. Okay. That's cool. But no, that's what I'm saying is I look at the Fight Forever graphics. I looked at it like it's a game that has potential. I mean, you saw Tony Schiavone and Britt Baker doing this, the coming soon and everything, and it kept coming soon and coming soon and coming soon. And then you finally get the finished product or unfinished, if you will. And we get this in different seasons and downloads. And I'm like, you hype this up so big, and then it's just a big letdown. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, do they hardly even advertise a video game anymore? I don't think they even really hardly
Occasionally you'll see something. You'll see like a, hey, Fight Forever available. No.
Yeah, then just nothing. Nothing. Now, do you see them doing another video game ever after this?
Maybe I would like to see them start over from scratch. Like take what you did with Fight Forever and move forward.
And that's a shame too. I mean, like when I first started doing the video games, like I think the first ever video game, because I came late into the game at wrestling, like the first ever video game for wrestling I had, the two were Just Bring It and Shut Your Mouth. And those were good games. And then we had Here Comes the Pain, and then the SmackDown versus Raw series were really good. And then you got to what we have now with the WWE 12 and WWE 13, and then right into 2K. Like, it's amazing to see how video games have really evolved.
Oh, absolutely. My first wrestling game that I can ever remember playing.
Yeah.
And I'm about to date myself here.
Mm-hmm.
WWF WrestleMania for the NES.
Yep. That is really dating yourself.
And I can remember the game clear as day on the cartridge. And yes, folks, cartridges. Like, I know we probably have some viewers that are younger folk.
Mm-hmm.
Games used to come in cartridges. They're obviously they were bigger than this. You would stick it in the game, in the console like this, and pray to God the thing fucking turned on and you got a picture. Otherwise, pulling the cartridge out, back in, restart.
I was about to say, how often did you go on that bad boy?
Dude, so many freaking times. And it was only the Nintendo systems. Never had that with the Sega Genesis.
See, I'm as you both know, and everybody knows, I'm younger than Dan, so I know he can tell me.
Not that much.
Yeah, all right, whatever. I'm younger, so I'm.
Shut the fuck up, Mike.
I know I'm younger than Dan, but not that much. And I still like my first game systems were the PS1 and the PS2. I still have my PS2 over here in my room.
I miss the PS2.
Me too, man. It's still so good. But yeah, I had the PS1 and PS2s, and then I had the Wii. And that was it. Like the last video game, I'll tell you straight up, I ever really played, and this is very apparent to what we have going on now and today, was WWE 13 with Punker on the cover. Like that was the last game I played.
I got to, since you mentioned the PS2, did you ever play Showdown Legends of Wrestling?
I have Legends of Wrestling, yes.
You know what? Those games get so much crap, and they were bad.
They were bad. Like, I remember playing it, and I was like, this is fucking horrible.
But Showdown Legends of Wrestling, which I think on the cover was Hogan, Savage, Warrior was even in it.
Mm-hmm.
The one thing I will say that I did like about that game was the steel cage.
The steel cage was great. Like, the overall ambiance and the retro vibe of it, like, was really cool.
That was cool, and also how the cage worked. How the door worked. I liked that.
Me too. I mean, it's different controls and stuff, but it was really cool to have the access to the cage. And what I also really did like about that game, I think that was the one that had Andy Kaufman in it, right?
Yeah.
That was awesome. Just to unlock Andy Kaufman just because of the throwback.
The commentary was horrible.
It's like how, I'll make it a comparison to this. It's like when you had the commentary in SmackDown, Just Bring It, and all it was Michael Cole and Taz saying the same thing over and over again. I've never seen a fight like this before. Like, it's the same old line.
It was Larry Zbyszko,
okay,
Bobby Heenan,
yes,
and Tony Schiavone.
That's right. That's right.
That was the commentary team for Legends of Wrestling.
It's been a while since I played it, but yeah, now that you brought that up, that's right. Yeah.
And now you're going to want to play it again.
Oh, God. I don't even want to play TNA Impact again, and I played that back in the day. Like that.
We don't talk about that game.
I know.
I never even played it.
You don't want to play it. I mean, a lot of people thought the story was fun, but yeah, go ahead.
Hey, it gave us the suicide character.
It did, but yeah, no. Is AEW Fight Forever the worst video game in history? No. But it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad.
Is it fixable? Absolutely. There's
Yes.
things that they can do. You know, I think what you do, you look at what worked versus what didn't work.
Right.
And expand on what did. Now, if you look at WWE, the 2K20 game was fucking shit.
Yep.
And they gave up on it. Like, you know it's bad when they're like, yeah, no. Done. So they took off a year, and they gave us WWE Battlegrounds, which, hey, I enjoyed that.
That was a fun game. It was fun. It reminded me of All Stars, but revved up.
Exactly. Like, it was campy, it was corny, and it was fun.
Yep. And then you got 2K22,
which was a return to form. 2K23 expanded on that.
Yep.
I'd like to see a little bit more. I'd like to see more options for weaponry. If AEW can get away with a exploding ring match and still get a T for teen rating.
Yep.
And the blood in that, it buckets.
I was about to ask. I know they were very big about blood being in the game.
I mean, granted, I played on the Nintendo Switch. Okay. Still pretty good for that.
All right. But yeah, the Fight Forever, like, they were very big on the blood being in there. Like, the blood is everywhere. Like, you see buckets all over the ring.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
It looks like somebody, and it stays on the ring.
Yeah.
It's not like, WWE games, where you hit somebody with a steel chair and bust them open, and, it may drop on the ring, but then that's it.
That's it. Yeah, you have like the little shimage on the ring, but this one is just like, I've seen that. I have seen those images and everything from that gameplay. Yeah.
So I mean, it's a step in the right direction. I'd like to see them expand on it, but it wasn't worth the price I paid.
All right. Well,
I know AEW diehards that say the same damn thing.
Well, that's an honest review and fair point, because I have seen a lot of people on social media complain much like you are. But I will say this. I mean, if they do another game, if they do another game, let's see how they do it and just really going forward and make it into the right direction. There's stuff that's fixable. But, I mean, they had the season 1 and 2 DLC. Are they doing like a season 3, or what's the deal?
Well, season 2 just got announced within the past week or two. So
okay.
They haven't released it yet, but...
All right. Yeah. Now, one video game I have to mention that, I mean, we've talked about video games on this podcast before. There was one I had, I think, for those who remember, I think it was like, what was it, like Galactic Wrestling or something? And it was like a Japanese-based video game. Do you remember that one?
Yeah, there's that. There was the Fire Pro Wrestling games.
Oh, yes. Okay. Yeah, I had the Galactic one where it was like they just, like, you finish them and they yell, they scream, and it was very fun. Like, I remember being, like, really fun, like, to play that game.
Yeah.
The Fire Pro is very interesting too. Yeah,
exactly. And I would love to see a GM mode for AEW, like where you're booking it.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you get to make some special announcements.
Oh God. I could definitely see them if they did a GM mode. Everything would just be special announcement, major announcement, major announcement, major announcement. Here's this match, major announcement, major. I can see that.
All the arenas look the same.
Does it look like the Daily's place, or what does it look like in there?
Your standard, Dynamite arena.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Which, sure.
All right.
I like to see a little variety.
I mean, WWE used to do great with those entrances of different, pay-per-views and different arenas.
I miss those days.
Me too. Like, I like those. They were good. You can fight in the corridor. You can fight in everything.
Yeah. Like, come on, W. Give us more. Like, if you allow us to have an arena, give us more options.
Right. I think that's really the basis of it, is like, give us more when it comes to video games, go the extra
Feed us more.
But we're not going to retire and be dumbasses and trolls like Ryback. Fuck you, Ryback. Did I mention that?
Fuck you, Ryan.
Fuck you, Ryan. But we don't say fuck you to you guys, because you guys appreciate what we do. And you listen to what we do. And we thank you for listening.
And if you're not subscribed yet, what are you doing?
You should just hit the bell. Go to Mike Larkin on YouTube. You can find all my work.
Ring the bell.
Ring the bell. You can see my stuff with this son of a gun over here. You can see my stuff with Robert Davis and Nicola McDonald for Deep Into the Heart Wrestling. You see the LFC podcast. You can check out On the Mic with Mike. You can check out the Pop Culture podcast.
We have season 3 coming soon.
We got season 3, baby, coming soon. Which first episode, Daniel, ECW, December to December 2006.
One of the worst pay-per-views of all time.
It was terrible, but I'm going to make
worse than Victory Road 2000. Was it 2011?
The one with Jeff Hardy and Sting? Yeah.
Yes.
So I'm going to make Dan watch it, and he hates me for it, but it's going to be fun.
Because Mike is a sadistic bastard, and he hates me.
I love him, but it's going to be fun to really to watch matches like Daivari versus Tommy Dreamer and the great Khali friggin' chokeslams Tommy Dreamer on the stage, and Tommy Dreamer goes, "I can't feel my legs," and nobody gave a fuck. That's what we have.
They hated Tommy. Vince hated Tommy Dreamer.
He hated him. Like, they made Khali go over to ECW and be Daivari's bodyguard, and you have friggin' poor Tommy Dreamer selling for this big jamoke. Oh.
And you had a pay-per-view end at, I think it was less than 2 hours, wasn't it?
It ended at like 10:18. Like, it only gave us like 2 hours and 18 minutes, and everybody was like, "That's it." Like, they wanted their money back. Oh, it was a. We'll talk about.
I think it was so bad that they're just like, okay. So I remember the story. Vince was pissed, and I think he told them, "All right, cut it."
Bobby Lashley's the champ. See you next time. Bye. That was it.
One of the worst Elimination Chamber matches of all time.
Well, we'll get into that on the next episode to start season 3. But guys, thank you so much for sticking with us through season 2 and give us a little bonus episode to talk a little Survivor Series and the return of Punk and some video games. Take this trip down memory lane. And Daniel and I, if you want to go back and also watch promo series, Daniel, no longer champs. You and Mo lost to Dazzy and Corey, and you are no longer the knowledge champ with losing to Dazzy. You got a rematch though coming up.
I've already got it back. You know I do.
All right. And you can also check out, you got the TSK just did a Survivor Series review.
Yes, we did. We recorded last night. Great episode, as per usual, as what we always do on the show. Check it out. It just dropped today.
All right. By the time this comes out, I will also put the link in the description for this one, and you guys will hear the season finale with Cody Rhodes. We finished the story before Cody.
Before even he did. We finished that doggone story. So check us out. SM Show 1, MCL92, Mike Larkin on YouTube, Larkin_92, I'm Larkin MB, D Crimmins1 on Instagram. Follow us. You won't be disappointed because we got a lot coming for you. And be ready for season 3. It's going to be even bigger.
Even bigger. And my final words to that is, Rob Van Dam, you can't excuse the fact that you can't go to Iraq this time. You know you don't want to, so that's why we're going to have your job first out. You don't want to go to Iraq? Well, you're going to be the first eliminated in the Extreme Elimination Chamber because fuck you, Rob Van Dam, and Hardcore Holly's going to replace Sabu, and fuck that pay-per-view, but we're going to do it.
You're making me watch it.
I love you. You know I don't hate you. You know it's all love, but like we all love you. We all love you. So thank you for listening. Thank you for watching, and AEW Fight Forever.
And you stay classy, San Diego.
No. Stay classy, San Diego. Go fuck yourself, San Diego. Fuck AEW Fight Forever. You don't want to fight forever, Daniel? You don't want to fight forever? And fuck. It's horrible. See you guys.